Okay.
I'm not ready. Okay.
If you feel more comfortable, you can sit out there, but you're welcome to sit in here with us. Whatever works. You can sit out there if you want.
You about
whatever
ready?
you're
You
comfortable
ready,
with.
Emily? Okay.
I can tell you. when
We're going to call the meeting to order of the town Lake Clark Shores Code Enforcement Board hearing, September 26, and the time is 6:32. Emily, could you please call roll, please?
Paul Hughes,
Present?
Benjamin Hartman,
Present.
Ariel Hernandez,
Present.
Gerard Sanchez, Robert Gonzalez, Deb Moody,
Present.
Debbie Gregorian.
Present.
We'll now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item of business is the consent agenda for this meeting, which includes the approval of the minutes of the August 25th meeting. Any unfinished cases now in compliance or new cases now in compliance. Dana, could you give us what you got there?
Yes. I'll go ahead and just give them all. Like
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said. The very first one on page 1, case 21-0127. That property has been placed in compliance. During the last meeting, there were some questions about them possibly using the leftover posts that they didn't remove as a mailbox holder. That is true. So they're in compliance.
Okay.
On page 3, at the very bottom, the last case 21-0322, Susan Downing for the fencing, that is placed into compliance. Page 4, the last two cases, 21-0350 and 21-0354, Mr. William Murphy. And that would be all of them.
Okay. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business would be for the board members to please disclose any visits to properties or discussion with individuals outside of this meeting regarding any properties that come before us tonight. Next item would be swearing in of witnesses by the town's attorney. Anyone that's going to speak tonight regarding any cases, if you'd please stand and be sworn in by the town's attorney.
So over this way. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And you did too. That's good.
That was so cute.
Thank you. Is there someone here representing Miss Webb tonight? No?
No, she wasn't able to make it. She did reach out.
Okay. How about Jack Basilone and Kevin McClatchy?
No,
Okay. How about Shannon Loxton?
Mrs. Logston is here.
Okay. Is it all right if we take that case now? Board members? Okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. Dana, you want to bring us up to date on that?
Sure. Mrs. Logston did reach out to me and she let me know why she wasn't here for the last meeting. She'll be able to go over where she's at.
Okay, in the last meeting, the board
Order respondent to.
ordered the respondent to apply for a pool permit and have a signed contract for the pool repair by this meeting. Ms. Loxton, would you like to bring us up to date, please? You can come up here and talk to us, please. Thank you.
I didn't make the last meeting because I had to run to Jupiter to help my son with my grandkids. So I apologize. But I have my contract, I've gone through 3 contractors now. But now this contractor has just put in all his permitting to the town.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, there's some they submitted the permit. There are some things missing to it, I was told. I'm not sure what yet. But they submitted it.
Okay. So obviously you don't have a contract yet, right? Or you do have a contract?
I already sent in the money to start the permitting process. I talked to him today to get a timeline and he said about 30 days is what it's going to take to finish it
Okay,
or sooner.
okay.
But I've gone through 3 pool contractors and been waiting for months for people to get started. But this guy is available.
Okay.
So I'm going with him.
Any questions, board members?
No question. I think it meets the spirit. I would support just acknowledging our compliance and.
Well, we need a, according to the last meeting, we need a contract. According to the last
Was
meeting.
the permits have been filed?
Yes, and it said, and sign a contract with a pool repair company.
I think the spirit of the request has been met. So I would put forth a motion to find her in compliance. And
I don't know that
Is
we
there
can
anything
find
else in here?
compliance yet because the item at hand is not in compliance. We definitely have a great response to what we've asked for. And
Sure.
I think that we need to continue just to monitor the progress.
What is the original complaint?
I believe it's a pool in disrepair.
Yeah, but specifically, do y'all recall? I don't recall the case.
I think
Emily
do we
will
have
show you a photo.
photos?
She's getting it for you now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, empty.
Empty, probably some standing water, things like that.
Right.
We all
So
understand.
the decking on the back is all being redone and then the resurfacing done.
How long is your contractor indicating that it'll take before he's completed?
He said at the most 30 days.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. He's just waiting on the permitting.
Oh, well,
And I
then we
also
should
have
push this.
ordered the stone. The stone has been on order and in place for 8 months because I've been going through contractors. So it's ready to be shipped to my house. It's holding with my name on it.
Gotcha.
But you haven't signed a contract with this.
He just sent the permitting in and I asked him today, what's the next step? And he said, I will collect everything from you when my part is done.
Pools take at a minimum 30 days. It's and if it's new construction, it's even longer. So
Well, it's not
I would
construction,
file an order
it's
to
all
continue.
surface.
yeah,
I'd
it just
make a
needs to
motion
be
to continue.
continued.
Okay, so the motion is to continue this case to
Yeah.
the next meeting, which would be this October.
October
October
27th.
27th. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I continue to get fined $100 a day.
If you don't come into compliance.
So from the point of last month, was I being fined $100 a day?
It started, yes, effective the last meeting, I believe.
Okay,
Normally, the fine runs until you're in compliance, at which time you can come back to the board and ask for
A reduction.
a reduction in the
elimination.
fine.
long time, because if you talk to anybody who has pool contractors or any kind of work being done, everybody's delayed. So, I mean, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money if you don't come through.
So if I come through,
It'll go away.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone here representing Patricia Rott? Okay. Dana, you want to bring us up to date on case 210070? Tricia Rott?
Yes, I guess if we'll hear, I guess we can just hear her since you called her, and if you don't mind, if we can skip down to Mr. Allison's case so he can go to work.
We'll get you next.
So Mrs. Manning reached out to me and asked about the last meeting, so I explained it to her, and she's here to discuss it further with you guys.
So I didn't come because I know that you had said to remove the tarp off the front, and if we were able to put the topping on the back, to put the topping on the back. Well, it requires more than just the topping on the back. There's actually a hole that has to be repaired, which is why the topping. I mean, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Looking at that right there, you guys, the last time I was here, you were like, we're not gonna nitpick, we're not gonna, from the front, if you can't see it from the front. I even had friends that live in Lake Clark Shores drive down, and I said, do you see anything? They're like, what am I looking for? I go, just tell me, what do you see on the, I don't see anything. I go, you don't see a tarp? Oh, well, now that you mention it, if I look up, yes, I notice it. And and with all due respect, when speaking with you, she said that she even went around to the back side. The back side of my house that backs up is on West Palm Beach property. It's not even Lake Clark Shores property. We've lived in Lake Clark Shores for over 30 years. And I just feel at this point, it's like, we're doing the best that we can. I've shared that, we have a court case set for January. It's out of our control until it goes to the court right now. Financially, my mom at 85 does not have the finances. And I shared with you, I'm going through a nasty divorce. I don't have the finances to help out right now. So unfortunately, we're just in a bad situation, and we've done everything possible to make it. I mean, to me, it almost looks like just the fastening on, I just feel like it's nitpicking at this point. And for $50 a day, when we removed it off every other part, just like you asked.
And are there any complaints from the neighbors?
No, and as I told you guys last
Yeah.
meeting, she did do exactly what you asked her
Yep.
for.
And
So I just
voted
brought
against
you-
it
I
for that
brought you
reason,
the
because
photo.
We gave her direction. She followed direction.
Yes, she did exactly what you guys asked her
Is
to.
it possible to take the strip of wood off? Is there somebody that can do that?
If we took the strip of
That-
wood off, then you would have to put the sandbags on the side, and then I think you would see the sandbags. You don't see
She
the
has a leak.
sandbags now.
You still have a leak where
Well,
the
wait.
tarp is, right?
It's not leaking with the tarp on,
Right.
but if we were to take it off,
Right.
it would come
Yeah, I
into the house.
Wouldn't want her to do.
Okay.
I mean, I would be willing to take off that side, but then I think you're gonna see I think the sandbags would be more noticeable than the piece of wood.
How about paint it white and then it matches the tarp?
I
There
could
you
do
go.
that.
Instead of pulling it off.
So you're saying that this is not going to come to fruition until maybe January?
I mean, we're trying to, but I can't, my adjuster keeps saying, or my mom's adjuster keeps saying that, usually when it comes to this, they don't want to go to court. So they're going to try and settle. But it's been a long time.
I will say, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I feel you, and I will say that the courts are clogged. They're completely backed up now with the, we're still dealing with the Delta variant. And so I totally understand your frustration. I think that we can push this down the road. I mean, certainly it's a pain to come and hang out with us once a month. And I'm sorry for that, but obviously the objective for the board is to make sure that we're obtaining compliance, or at least having that ongoing communication with residents to make sure that compliance is the eventual stop, right? But I think that it's a great idea to paint it white. Whoever had that idea, that was a nice touch. But I'm okay with moving it down the road, another month. And it does say here that the fine may apply. It's not a requirement to apply.
So how about we paint the wood white and you come back and see us, or you don't even have to come back and see us.
She can relay it to me and I can tell you if you
Yes.
like,
Well,
that
what
way
if-
she doesn't have to keep coming here.
And we postpone it to
Can we go far, as
Maybe
far out
December?
as January or?
maybe December.
Okay, December.
Guys okay with that?
I'd be okay with, what, if you're expecting a court date in January, so,
That's what it was set for.
Yeah,
but
I shared that paperwork a couple times ago.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion.
Okay.
Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 20-0070, I move that this board continue this matter until code enforcement board hearing on January, whenever the January meeting is.
January 2020.
Is it on here?
No, I haven't
No.
said
Well, just
anything yet.
call it generically January
It'll be
2020.
January
January-
26th,
January
the
26th,
fourth Wednesday.
January meeting.
2022. God, we're already there,
Okay.
basically.
What about the painting the wood? You don't think that needs to be done?
I do, but I think that
Can you do that?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
other things.
I'll second that motion.
To include the painting the wood? Any
Okay,
further discussion?
Are we amending the or does it have to be amended or?
No, we just
Okay.
included
Okay.
painting the wood. Clarify.
Okay,
So
clear.
I'm just so that I'm clear. We're
Absolutely.
painting the wood that's.
That
like
strip of
holding
wood
the
that we
front
can
around,
see.
the strip of wood around.
Yeah.
White, correct?
Right.
Gotcha.
And
any kind of white.
bringing this back to the board at the January meeting
Yes.
of 22. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Okay, thank you for
It's
coming.
nice to have a bit of levity.
Mhm. Okay,
You want me to hold the envelope again for you? Not for Okay.
We're going to,
Mr. Allison's
Alec?
case,
Hi.
under new cases,
welcome. No problem.
210375, fence and disrepair around the entire property. Dana, can you bring us up to date,
Yes.
please?
So we're.
Are
going to
there
start
some
in Allison's
pictures?
case, right? So I originally issued the property located at 6785 Escondida Drive, the violation on June 22nd. However, during the July meeting, you guys brought up his fence during another issue, which has been completely resolved. He did mention to me that he did not get the violation. So in all fairness, I started it all over again, and his violation was issued on hang on, my stuff got mixed up here. Yeah. So it was issued on, June 22nd of 2021.
June 22nd.
Right, and I believe, if I remember correctly, that was the one he told me he didn't get. So when I started it all over.
but the
sorry,
fence
it
is
was
taken
clipped-
care
It was
of?
clipped to another one. So when I started all over, he was issued a new violation, to be fair, on August 18th of 2021. And when I went out there, well, today's meeting was issued 9/13 of 21 at 2:46. It was posted on the front door. Emily has the photo. When I went out there today to take the photos, they were actively working on the fence. As you can see, the photos, the gentlemen were there. So I don't know what it looks like as of right now, but so he's actively working to comply.
Officer Allison, would you like to
Sergeant Allison is.
bring us up to date on what's going on with your fence?
Yes, like the lieutenant said, June 22nd, I had no idea of the notice. It wasn't on my door. I'm not saying that it wasn't there. I just didn't get it. So I was first brought to the attention that it needed to be repaired. Like the lieutenant said, late August 19th, I believe.
18th.
I, like most of America, live paycheck to paycheck. So I immediately texted the lieutenant after I saw the notice. I'm like, what do you mean the whole fence needs to be replaced? That's thousands of dollars. I literally work paycheck to paycheck. I'm working 16-hour days. Okay, I'm the only income in that house. I live there alone. So immediately I go into panic mode. I need to come up with this money. Most people don't have a job where they are afforded the right to work overtime. So I immediately go to work. I have to start working overtime. This is weighing on me. I know the fence has to be repaired. I went and got 5 estimates, anywhere from 2,700 all the way to 6,800. Okay, I know what I need to do. Had all of them come out, pick the best one. They require 50% up front, pay that. I can't even pay the other 50% till this Friday when this job is supposed to be done. So that'll be 80% of my paycheck there. So the back is being completely replaced and I am repairing the front myself because literally I just can't afford it. So the little front exit gate, I have to go to Home Depot on my only day off, which is Saturday, and start doing that myself. And that's where we're at now.
When do you think you'll be done?
He says he will be done Friday.
And how about you, your part?
Saturday, depending on the weather, I get off at 6:30 in the morning. I'll start at like 2
So
p.m.
within the next 30 days?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
As far as the foliage, the only other time I was here last month.
You're good on that.
Yeah, I have my lawn guy going back
Close
there
out.
every 2 weeks, and that's an additional $40 on that lawn expense. So I'm doing the best I can. Is all I can tell you
Okay.
guys.
Discussion, anyone?
No.
Anyone like to make a motion?
I just have something to
Yes,
add.
ma'am.
The work that was done, it was done without a permit, and so there's a stop work order on it as of today.
And that I was completely unaware of that I even needed a permit.
To replace your fence, you need a permit.
Again, it's not on this at all. It says nothing about that
It's not.
I need a permit. I don't see it on there.
It's on the first one.
Okay, so
All right.
The,
Who's your fencing contractor?
I would have to look at my phone. It's
Normally he would have asked you, do you want to do this without a permit or do you want us to get a permit for you?
I can show you the text conversation. There was none of that.
Okay.
It was, hey, I have this meeting on Wednesday.
Yeah.
When can you get this done? I'm going with your company. And he said it would take 3 days. He'd have it done by Friday.
Well, you need a permit.
Clearly, he didn't intend to get a permit.
Okay. Now, if I went out there and did the repairs myself, would I still be looking at a permit?
so,
You still need a permit for the fence,
yes, but
but it doesn't
He
say that
could
you
pull-
can't do it.
he could pull an owner builder permit if he would like also. He does have that option.
Is that 2 permits or 1 permit?
No,
No,
it'll
it's
just be one.
And he can still use the contractor and do part of
Yes.
it himself.
Yes, he can.
Okay.
This is all new to me and I hate to sound naive about it.
It's okay.
I mean, I moved in 6 years ago. I haven't had any of these problems.
I'm still finding out about the town's permits, believe me.
So,
So I will say, I understand, but on the August 18th, the door hanger, I did write, please obtain a permit and replace at the bottom.
okay.
Just so you know, I always do try to do that because
The only one I have with me is this one, so it may say that on that. I just read this one once I
Okay.
got that stuck on my door today.
All right, so
Um,
within the next 30 days, you ought to be able to get a permit and
Finish.
have the fence done. Is that right?
As long as your property isn't owned by an LLC or a corporation, you can get an owner builder permit, no problem.
I will, if he does his permit, I will try to talk to Manny to see if they can speed it along. He does have a pool.
Right.
So,
Which is
and
exposed right now. He's
Yeah.
supposed to put up all the planks tomorrow.
yes, so I'll try to get with Manny and then in order to get a permit, you need a property survey. If you remind me, I will pull your building file for you and see if there's a survey that you can use.
Okay.
Because you haven't done anything to that house. It's been like that longer than I've been employed here.
Right.
So I would assume there could be one to help you out.
You may have a permit in your file somewhere. I mean, not a permit, a survey, I'm sorry.
I was tearing the house apart looking for that once I saw that notice on the door at 4:30. So again, I'm naive to all this. What am I doing tomorrow? I get off at 6:30 in the morning. Do I call that guy who's the building contractor, whatever he was, building inspector? I tried to call him at 4:30. Obviously, I got his voicemail. So
I have no idea what time he comes in. You can try calling him, but I'll try to help you, in any which way I
I just
can.
need some kind of direction on where
All
I.
right, direction. Who did the title work? So if you can, hopefully you have an email or something from your closing. Typically you would have been looped in with your title company, reach out to the title company, whoever provided you that policy. They should have a survey.
They don't. It was Penny Mac. I called them as soon as I saw.
No.
My mortgage company. I
No,
called them.
the mortgage company, no, the title company. So there's a mortgage company, there's a title company, there's the realtors. So try to see if you can track down the title company. If you don't have that, you may be able to find the title company from the deed, or it could be registered in the clerk of courts. So
Or the survey could also be in the property file here.
Which
it
is,
could be.
Yeah, so she said she would check that for you.
Hmm.
So that would be the first thing, is see if there's a copy of the survey in the file, because you'll need that to apply for an owner builder permit.
and that's here?
Yes.
Okay.
In the
So
building
tomorrow morning I come
department.
here. Anyone know what time they open?
Well, hold on a second. We're
So-
not allowing people into the building department without an appointment. So you got to call in and set a time to speak with a young lady named Mary Rodriguez. Did I get that name?
Mary Ramirez.
Mary Ramirez.
Because that's the issue. Like the lieutenant said, there is a pool that's exposed.
Yeah.
So they are coming back to put up the panels tomorrow. So if I have to stay up and do this at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll sacrifice and do it. But I just need the direction to go.
There's no applications. I was trying to go get you.
Yeah. So you get it.
So you or the contractor has to apply for a permit with the town.
And I need a building survey for that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Which may be in the property file here.
It may also be in your closing documents if you have that from when you purchased the house.
Yeah, that was
It might
6, 7 years ago and I've been tearing through paperwork.
Yeah. Okay.
Needle in a haystack.
What's your email account? You should be able to go back that far. I just pulled mine the other day and I do title work. So it's a good way to.
It's gonna be another
Next
long
Gen
night.
is who does most of, who everybody uses, and most of the people in Lake Clark, so we can always reach out to
Or
them
Miller surveying.
and ask them if they have it for you. Most of the times they'll just share it with you because you've
Yeah.
already paid for it once.
So we're gonna.
So Dana can help you get through
This
this.
is the phone
Mr.
number for the title company that provided you the deed.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr. Clark, you wanted to comment?
I was going to suggest that if he can come in at 8 or 8:10 in the morning, that we could give him his land file to take a look through, and we could give him the application for the owner builder permit and talk through some of the extra stuff that he may need to add to that.
Okay. 8 a.m. tomorrow here.
So
Just as an aside, I'm pretty proud of the problem solving
Yeah,
that
everyone
we got
working
going
together,
on here.
yeah.
I don't think that you're gonna find that in a bigger city.
Yeah, not in West Palm Beach. so.
No offense.
None taken.
Thank you for your service too. Is there a motion? I mean, currently
Make a
property is
motion.
not in compliance.
It is not in compliance.
In case number 21-0375, Mr. Malcolm Allison, 6785 Escondido Drive, is not in compliance of section 3419 sub 9 sub D, and that we provide until the next meeting, and I just gave you my piece of paper.
October
October
27th.
27th to come into compliance.
I'll be here at 8:10 in the morning.
Is there a second?
Oh,
second
wait a
that.
second.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Have a safe shift.
Thank you again, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay, is someone here
If you
from
communicate
Michael
with me, you can help.
Steen and Teresa
I'm
Webble?
here tomorrow.
Okay.
I will help you. Okay, you're welcome.
Ma'am, you can come up, but officer, the code enforcement officer is going to go ahead and bring us up to date on your case. 210376.
I originally issued the first violation on June 16th of 2021 to 1407 Beta Court North for the open storage on the back porch. It was a lot of items. It was a complaint. So I kind of just left it, for a little bit more time because I've been through this before with them and usually they do work to comply. Sometimes they just need some more time. So on June 22nd, 2021, I issued the second notice. And then I still, again, like I said, kind of gave them some more time because you could tell that they were starting to remove some items, but not completely all of it. So on September 13th of 2021, I posted today's hearing notice on the front door. It's a little difficult to see because it's across from the waterway. But when I was taking photos, they were actively there. They had a helper and they were actively cleaning the patio. It's just a lot of stuff. They probably could tell you
It's
more than I could.
busy.
We're busy.
It's busy. I have a lot of lawn furniture, plants, Dana's been really very helpful and nice to us. The west side of the property, when we got the other violations, we neatened the things, but we did not dispose of them. We have really high hedges on both sides, and we're sort of guilty of thinking that nobody could see. Okay, that's the truth. So we've just, both of us spent the last several days, and I have pictures, Dana, to show you. The west side is completely empty. There's 2 lawn chairs up against the house, but everything,
The west side's fine.
everything
It's
has
just the
been.
stuff in the back.
Okay. As I look at this picture, the only thing I can say is that we have a orchid house, a large orchid house on the east side of the house. And right before the COVID in February of 20, when we came home from holiday, we started to take everything out to replace the rotten wood. And then everything happened, the COVID. I mean, it was February when we took all the pots and plants and put them on the back deck. So now, being encouraged to solve the problems. As I said, we've completely cleaned the west side, and she said that was okay. And we're working to replace the rotten wood and then put the plants back in the orchid house. But to be 100% honest with you, those lawn chairs that are there didn't come from the orchid house. They're on my patio. So I'm very busy back there, and I admit to that.
I don't know that I can tell you how many lawn chairs you can have in your yard.
And
But
it's busy.
but it's more or less the up in the back where the area. There's like after I left.
We
That's why I
were
said I wasn't
working
sure.
when you were there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dana, are you
And
aware
again-
if there's a specific number of chairs or something that you can have in your
No,
backyard?
that's why I just said I
Oh,
I can't
okay.
tell them they can't have.
I'm
patio
just kind of
furniture.
jealous that you have all that lawn furniture there and you didn't invite us to the party.
They're clean chairs, sir. I mean, it isn't as if they're rotten PVC chairs or,
No, the
They're-
chairs are fine.
So there's things other than the
Yeah,
chairs.
so they said that it's clean, so I guess it would need to be maybe tabled and I
Inspected.
have to go back out and check it.
I can't get a good visual from this.
It's very
So-
hard. I'm just using a cell phone to take photos and
I
it's
hear you.
across the waterway.
And
We need a camera?
the neighbor whoever complained
Pretty good.
has really good vision.
do I?
No, you can see it with your the naked eye when you're there.
Know who made the complaint?
Rusty Butler.
I think
Who-
it's a public
It is public.
information now.
You asked me, I have to tell you. And he got an earful today too, because I have to go in his backyard to see your backyard, which allows me to see his violations.
Which is kind of what I had heard happened, but I kind of wanted to get confirmation. If
Oh,
I
yes, I
have
did. That's what I
pictures-
did.
I have pictures of Rusty's yard.
Oh, yeah.
Leave it to the state of Florida to
so
start
Teresa-
neighbors bickering
Teresa?
against each other.
And I said that. I said that.
Hey.
Who wants to fight with your neighbor?
No, listen, there's a lot of lawn furniture. I can't really see anything else that's
It's up
stacked
under the
or
covered area.
whatnot. I
And
can't
a
see if
lot
there's a
of
big
that,
shadow
right?
there, so,
So Teresa, you think you can get this all straightened up by the next meeting? or
Oh,
next month?
yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, I
There you
hope,
go.
Dana, you will visit and make sure that
Yeah.
before we get here, that we don't have to
Yes.
come.
Yes.
Thank you very
If
much for
somebody
your
answers their
courtesy.
Further
phone
discussion?
once in a while.
Do we have a motion?
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
You have to get mine.
Okay.
Thank you so much
I'll
for
make the
your
motion.
courtesy.
We're not quite finished.
Oh, I'm
In
sorry.
case 21-0376, Michael and Michael Steen and Teresa Weevil, 1407 Beta Court North. I move that the board give them an additional 30 days to come into compliance, or a fine of $25 a day may be imposed.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Sure. Emily, did you get all that?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye, I'm opposed.
Motion carries.
Thank you again, all of you.
All right, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Who seconded the motion?
You're welcome.
I seconded that.
Your last.
Deb,
Moody.
okay. Mr. Gigliotti
No problem.
is
He's
present,
Not present.
not present, okay.
Mrs. Alvarez is here. And
Okay,
she looks amazing.
let's go back.
So
Where are we going?
if we could go up to her so she doesn't have to stay longer.
Sure, where is that?
Hi. She's right on page 2, very first case, second case,
Page 2,
but first case of page 2.
first case, okay.
Wait, say that again.
Mary Webb.
Yes,
First.
sorry, I forgot to
That's
clarify
okay.
that part.
Um,
So, she's been in contact with me. I didn't know she was actually gonna be able to come. She did send me a photo. I went by, took a photo. The vehicle's been transferred to the person who she gifted it to. It's still there. He actually has done a little bit of work. He's taken the vehicle, but it's fully covered. And she sent me a photo of the current license plate. Obviously, it needs work to be able to run, but it doesn't
But it's
Yes, and
registered.
he is-
look like it did before.
it's,
Has it been moved from this property?
No,
Not
not
yet.
yet. He's out of
I-
town.
He's out of state, actually. And
it's currently registered now?
yes, yes, you can see from
Okay.
today's photograph of the plates.
And then that's
So-
what I got from the street, but it's got a full car cover on it.
I'll tell you a funny story about that car. It was my mother's car.
Go for it.
Go for it, yes. And when she hit around 94, 94 years of age, I noticed her, her driving was not as strong as it had been in the past. So I took away her keys.
No 5 stars for her if she was an Uber driver?
Well, 94 she had been a great driver her whole life, but I just thought about 94, 95. I took away her keys. Well, little did I know that my mother had turned into the teenage daughter I never had. I had sneaked some keys, and she and her boyfriend were sneaking out in my car. And so I just took the battery out of it and hid the battery
Wow.
to control the car, which is the reason it sat there unused. It was a great driving car.
Well, thank you for keeping our streets safe.
So, yes.
Doing
So the only time I come here is when I've had some terrible trauma in my family or something. So the last time I was here before you, she had had a stroke and had died at 99.
Oh,
wow.
This summer I think it's even exceeded that because I could not come last month's hearing. I would have cried the entire hearing. I had 2 family members in ICU for 2 months with COVID.
Oh, dear.
Very close family members, one of whom had died, and she was helping me with this house, my sister. And a 3rd family member, also in the hospital, injured. So, sometimes life happens and you just have to deal with the people you care about, and you can't deal with cars and fences and other things. But anyway, so today I came because I can talk to you without crying. The neighbor the reason I gifted it to him is he had asked me a while ago if he could buy it because he needed a new project. And so I gave it to him. He's been a great neighbor. And he's in Colorado, should be back this week. And the mechanic will be there again tomorrow. First thing he did was replace the fuel pump because he thought because it had been sitting there for 5 years, that would be the first thing, the first problem with driving it again. And he had anticipated being able to drive it away weeks ago after that was installed. But he said a mechanic will be out there tomorrow. He's returning this week. And whether it's driven to his garage or whether it's towed to his garage, it will go to its new owner. So that's my story.
I live on your street and I know who the buyer is.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
So
He probably called you to ask him to push it.
I see John all the time. So we'll have this taken care of by the next meeting?
I sure
Next
hope
month?
so. Because I only come here when there's trauma, and I'm just no trauma for a while. I'm going to live without trauma.
Any further discussion?
if you need help with a tow, let me know. We
Okay.
get good rates with tows.
Thank you. I'll remember that.
I will happy to make a motion here. Based on testimony and evidence presented in case number 210314, I move that the board postpone, continue the case until October 27th, 2021.
Now, there is a fine that's in place.
I think from what I read, the fine was already voted upon at the last meeting.
Yes.
Yes. So that fine will continue until it's in compliance.
Correct. Thank you.
So as soon as the vehicle is moved, I think you would
Tell me. She
tell
will.
her.
She tells me.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, I'll second.
And then she'll need to come back to discuss the fine with them next.
Oh, not
month.
again. I'll need to come back once more. So,
Yes, because you'll want to talk about
Because
the
you'll
fine.
have a.
You have to
a
formally
fine
ask.
right, so I can either write a
I
check to
can't
you.
do that
or
for
Or you can ask
What-
us
You
to
can
do
ask us
something
just to-
with.
I could ask you to do something. I can ask you for
Right.
some
You
compassion.
can ask for a reduction or
Oh, okay.
elimination.
Honestly, we'd love to dismiss the case right now. I
Yeah.
would at least, but you know,
Thank
car's still there and we've got this outstanding fine, but we just want to say hello next.
Our,
How
yeah,
about
Is
that?
there a second to the
Thanks.
motion?
Thank you, appreciate it. And thank you for your work. It's
Emily, you
important.
have it?
Yeah, so it's Robert who made the motion, Deb who seconded, and it's to continue until October.
Yes.
Yes.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
hi.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms.
You're
Alvarez.
welcome.
Thank you and be well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, the next case, 210317, Jack Basilone and Kevin McClatchy.
So there's nobody here for that. So let's, if we could go ahead and skip to page 4. 21-0348 and 21-0349.
Okay,
Valerie and I cannot say your mom's last name, so you're gonna have to do it. Summit.
Just the first S is silent.
Oh,
It's Greek.
geez.
okay, so
So her daughter is here, and I don't want to make her have to stay any longer than she needs to.
Dana,
Is she really?
is there an
Oh my
update on this property?
So I have to give it
Yeah.
to you, the story.
This is a fine imposition hearing?
Yes, so I did speak with her. She was not familiar with how the whole process worked. She'd never been through this before. So we kind of went over some things and she told me that she was going to be working to comply, sod her whole yard and things like that. I took some photos as of today and getting a new fence. It looks like I saw some lumber on the other side. So I
No,
don't
that's
know.
not for us.
Oh, I was like,
Way.
I don't know what they're going to do, but
No way.
we went over some things about fixing her fence and she would not need a permit to fix her fence. It's a very simple
Chain link, just the repair.
repair. It's just them getting the time to be able to do it and she's here
Well,
to.
the whole reason it was
Tell
down
ya.
to begin with, we had hired this lawn company who was supposed to come and like reinvigorate my lawn. And he pulled the post out of the fence to put his lawnmower into my backyard, his ride-on. He literally rolled it up and moved it to the side to where I couldn't move it back.
He didn't replace it,
No,
obviously.
no, he didn't. And we contacted the company. I contacted an attorney. He suggested a civil suit. My mom, the property's in my mother's name, and she's out of the country the majority of the year. She's bouncing all over the place. She manages an airline. So anytime I have to do anything that pertains to the house, I need her to be present with the notary. It just makes it really tough to get a lot of stuff done. But in this case, I mean, I had somebody come out and help me unwrap it. It was like just wrapped and wrapped over. And yeah, it's just.
So it's
Now
backward,
the post is up. We have it, the doors next to it, it can be put on, but the last 2 days it poured and we had the guy come out. He showed up 3 days ago. So I just have to make sure the cement like sits because it's just been rained on for 3 days.
Should be fine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the doors right next to it, the hinges are up. That's fine.
so there's no gate on the fence.
No, there is.
The gate-
It's next to it in that picture.
She just has to
but
put the
it
gate
just-
back
We just
on.
need to hang it on.
So there's a gate, but it's not hooked up.
Right.
Yeah, it will be when I get home.
And
today.
you don't have a pool.
I do.
She does have a pool, but
It's got a separate screen enclosure.
I don't know I don't know. She would have to tell you. She said it's all intact,
Yeah.
but I can't see that from the street.
then the other-
And what about the ungrassed area?
The patches. So our irrigation system is from like 1970. And getting people to come out that actually know what the system is a nightmare. We did find somebody. He repaired the well pump and he put new heads on, and there's a word for it. We stick water back into it to make.
Priming it.
That's the one. So he did all that. And in the meantime, I had them put seed down with a water hose sprinkler that's kind of going back and forth. But it should be, the sprinklers should be running within the week. And then as soon as we have like a steady flow with the sprinklers, I'm gonna sod the yard.
So,
You're planning to sod all of it?
Yeah, the entire front.
Okay.
Well, there's gonna be
Continue.
an area along the edge. It's gonna be like pebbles and some plants throughout it. But I mean, it's looked horrible since like 2 months after we moved into the house.
And that'll be taken care of by when?
The sprinklers will be on in the next week or so.
Mhm.
So the sod shortly after that, maybe a couple weeks.
Okay.
So by October 27th,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is our next
Oh, yeah.
meeting.
We'll vote on these two motions separately. Okay. Is there any further discussion?
You, you stated that you needed your mom for a notary for something?
Yeah, it's a full permit.
Okay.
Well, what part do you-
Contractor is like way
but-
out of my price.
I don't think she needs.
No,
But after she spoke with me, I explained to her she does not actually need permits.
Right.
And that's
I
where
just wanted to
I
clarify,
recommended
I
she
wasn't-
get her
No,
pump
we
fixed and
should
things
know.
like that.
Okay.
Would someone like to make a motion on the first 0348? Fence and disrepair.
So before I make the motion, I just want to kind of clarify with you so that you understand and you can kind of communicate it with your mother. The board at the last hearing voted that there was a fine of $50 per day that may be imposed. So that you understand what my motion is going to be. It's going to be to continue this to the next session. That fine is going to still continue to go on. Doesn't necessarily mean there is currently a fine as of today because it says respondent must come into compliance by the next code enforcement hearing, and that's as of today. And for both. And it says, or a fine of $50 per day may, underline may be imposed until compliance is achieved. So the board at the last meeting gave you until today to make sure that some of this was addressed. Unfortunately, as we see it today, it has not been in compliance. So that means that as of today, a $50 fine per day may, it's not shall, it's not a mandatory thing, but it is going to start to accrue and to rack up as of today. I just want to be clear with that. So my motion is going to be to continue it until the next hearing. What that's going to do is that's going to have approximately 30 days of this accrual of $50 per day per violation. So that's $100 per day until it comes into compliance. If you come into compliance tomorrow, you're good. The only thing that's racked up is $100. Does that make sense?
But
Which if you
When
come,
the fence
which
is already done.
Get it simple.
which you can
Come
come
into
into, if
compliance.
you come into compliance, you can come back here and you can say, look, everything is taken care of like you asked. Could you release us from the fine?
Gotcha.
Right. And as soon as it does come into
You
compliance,
need to
just
tell me.
let Dana know
No
and
problem.
she'll kind of
I'll go
document
check
it.
it.
So, all right.
And then I
The-
stop the fine
So
so
the
that you
first
can come.
case,
The motion is based on testimony and evidence presented in case number 210348. I move that this board continue this matter until code enforcement board hearing on October 27th, 2021.
is there a second?
I'll second.
You ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries.
For
Okay,
my
next case.
second motion.
I'll
210349.
stop you. I'm trying to understand. So right now it says the $50 fine may be imposed. So it's still not imposed right now,
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
We're just continuing the case and there's no fine right now.
That's correct. That's on what I understand.
There is no fine in place. It may be imposed,
Right.
if not in compliance by the next meeting.
Okay.
And it runs as of today.
So then
No,
technically,
because
if she's in
no,
compliance
because-
by the next
because it
meeting, she
may
doesn't
be
come back.
Do you want to place the,
I understood
Fine
that you were
input.
adding a fine beginning today.
That's the way that I wrote, the way that I read it from the last hearing, is that
We have the
it may be
ability to
imposed
impose it
as of today.
as of today, but we also have the ability to impose it if compliance is not achieved by the 27th. So it all depends on just how you want
So
to
you-
word it.
So you can continue it without the fine being imposed.
But then in 30 days, if I don't do it, you're like, here's your fine.
Right.
Right, exactly.
Well,
Right.
But then if
I get
she,
it.
so if she comes into compliance, then she doesn't have to come back and ask. Because if she's in compliance, then
Right.
there's, it's done and over with, right?
Right.
That's correct.
Okay, so you just have to tell me when it's in compliance so that I can go out there, check it, and communicate with you, and then you're done. And then I'll put it in the next
Let's
meeting.
keep the motion as is. Let's give you, good faith opportunity to get this done. And so that the motion stands.
Okay, so just to clarify though, it's not imposed, the fine is not.
Correct.
imposed. Okay. I think we have a second.
Yes, I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Maybe we voted on that twice, but. Did we do the second one?
We have not yet.
All right.
I was
I'm
waiting
grasping-
until there's discussion,
I'm
unless
grasping
you want
it.
me to go ahead and I can go fire it off.
Go ahead. Should be
Based-
easier this time.
Sure. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 210349, I move that this board continue this matter until Code Enforcement Board hearing on October 27th, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second. Debbie.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. You good?
See you next
Thank
month.
you.
Take care. It's right before Halloween, actually, right?
Yeah.
When's Halloween?
You have to remind me, I have to bring you
The
your bag
31st,
for your
right?
daughter.
31st,
I
right?
forgot.
Okay, so
Let
can
me
we
write
go-
myself a note.
can we go to case 210317 on page 2? Jack Basilone, Kevin McClatchy.
I want to add for case number 21-0127, it's in compliance, but there was a fine running. So,
Which one is that, Emily?
so it's the first case.
Very first one?
Yeah. So there was a fine running, but the person's in compliance right now.
Good
Person is
observation.
not here, but,
Yeah, they were supposed to come.
right.
Good
They were
observation.
supposed to come, but this is what they sent us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I've passed by this house just
I've driven
bicycling,
by quite-
Thank you.
bicycling, yeah, bike riding.
Thank you.
And other means of travel.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that the homeowner made a nice statement with the new mailbox.
Oh, missed that. So the request is to remove the fine. And the total amount of the fine as of the day it came into compliance is how
Well,
much?
that's the issue. I don't know exactly when it came in
Yeah.
compliance. It
So-
looks like it came in compliance before the last meeting, but the board found the person in violation at the last meeting.
No, at the last.
How about,
meeting-
can I make a suggestion? So the
Um,
day I was delivering his order, he was putting the mailbox on the post. So wouldn't that be a good date?
Yeah.
What day was that? Because I remember
I will give you that date right now.
going by, it may have been this.
But I
the
physically
following
was
night.
there when he was doing it.
Didn't you
So-
show us a picture of this post? And
It was-
the question was it in
Yes.
violation? And we determined that it was.
Correct.
Now that he's
because-
turned it into a mailbox post, is it no longer a violation?
Yes, I would think so. I delivered the order on August 31st of 21. For the record, I tried to deliver the order. He was not the friendliest person and refused and made me take it back.
Mhm.
Excuse me?
So, but I did witness him installing his mailbox on the post. So I would say if you need a compliance date to use that. But yeah, he refused and would not take his order from me after having a discussion with me.
The date of the
So I
last,
respectfully took it back with you.
at the date of the last meeting, the column was there by the mailbox,
Yes, the mailbox was, he had like a green mailbox that was its own.
Yeah.
but the concrete
And the
column
concrete
was
post
there
was there.
At the-
That's why he was still in violation and he wasn't here to tell us anything different.
because I saw it.
So I should have testified. I should have mentioned that I had passed by and saw that they had started the work, but they hadn't finished it. So when I went by on the 26th of the Thursday night following the 26th of August,
No.
that's what I saw, that they had started.
On August 31st is when he was literally had the mailbox
Well, I'm saying that
on
you
there. So
I said started the work.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
say
I
he
was-
finished. Like, so he removed one or two columns. I noticed, again, it was in dark and I didn't stop and stare.
he removed all the columns except for that
So
one.
I'm saying on the 26th of
So
Which was sitting
when
next
I
to
went
his.
by.
Columns weren't there on the
we
26th.
imposed the fine,
The columns
on
weren't there on the
August
26th,
25th.
just the one.
Yes.
okay?
Oh, so
And
then it
Dana
was
is saying
before the meeting that I saw it and I forgot to mention.
that it was removed
Okay.
on the 31st.
The mailbox was installed on the
But
leftover
was the
column.
column was still there?
That one column,
The
yes,
concrete?
but he's using it as a mailbox, his mailbox.
It's still there?
Yes.
That's why I
So
said,
He,
You want
is
it-
there a photo?
Yeah, there's a picture right there.
He gave the town a photo of
So
it.
it's still not in compliance?
It's still
No,
not,
it
it's-
is because that's his mailbox.
I
Well,
thought it
no,
was
no.
in- I thought it was in the,
no, this was not in compliance because remember, that's not city property.
right.
That was the issue.
But where else is he gonna put a mailbox?
Yeah.
The
but he has-
issue was that
No,
this was
it's the
Palm Beach
concrete.
County.
Right, so I don't have, he said the column was loose, but he got into another discussion and I should have asked him, hey, show me it's loose, because I don't have a right to touch anybody's property. But he had mentioned it's loose, but it is a mailbox post, kind of no different than what other people use in town, I would think.
Except initially, it was that the column was in the
Right away
the
or?
right of way, and it was a danger being in the right of way in case there was a car that came in.
Let me ask this.
Isn't that
No,
correct?
this is a sidewalk.
And
He has so Florida Mango is here,
I know.
and then you have a grass area, and then there's a sidewalk, and his mailbox is on the sidewalk.
Mr. Clark has, I think, some instructive insight into the placement of the then column, but now mailbox. I don't think
Well,
that
the column-
in my purview, by slapping a mailbox on it, it doesn't change the design or the violation, or even the violation of it being in a right of way.
Emily encouraged him to come to this meeting and discuss this with you guys.
Mr. Clark,
There's an interesting conundrum here in that the post office decides where the mailbox
That's
goes.
right.
And this is the location that they had chosen for his mailbox when it was a green plastic mailbox on a green plastic post. So the fact that he just put a mailbox on top of this more structural post, I think he really can't move that post to have it function as the mailbox. So if it seems to me, if you're willing to accept it as a mailbox, then it's in the right place for where it needs to be and where everybody else's mailbox would fall per the Postal Service. If you want to decide that it's still a column and he has to go with something cheaper and less sturdy for his mailbox, I guess that's your call as well. I would think this was a very creative way to take advantage of the nice post that he put up for his mailbox. It's really no different in my opinion. Sorry for offering an opinion, but you look at the manatees or the dolphins or any of that other stuff that we have around town.
Which those still baffle me because they're dangerous, but.
How are they dangerous? Well, I mean,
You hit one
that's a
with a-
rabbit hole.
I would,
If you hit one, which is the reason why like street signs, they actually have breakaways on the bottom. They have little 4 nuts and bolts where if a car hits them, they're designed in such a way that
then
they
a car
don't
shouldn't hit your
impale.
mailbox.
someone, there's been a lot of studies on it. I mean, it's what I do for a living, but street signs are designed to break away and flip up and over so that they don't become an issue. Same thing should be the case, especially, on Florida Mango, but
Well, I think
we're not the,
if you live on one of
wrong
those
board.
roads, you actually want a barrier because my mother lives
True.
on South Olive Avenue.
Sure.
Okay. So I understand people don't follow the speed limit at 25 miles.
I lived on the corner of Forest Hill and Olive for many years, so.
That's right.
Okay.
I have a relative who lives on the opposite corner where you lived.
So,
Really?
so let's decide if we want to accept
I
the
think it's a
column.
mailbox.
Let me finish, please. The column
Sorry.
has a legitimate mailbox post or not.
Look, it's a creative solution to a
And,
challenging situation.
and
And
stop his fine as of August
Well, I
31st.
haven't got there yet.
Okay, I just don't want you to forget.
Let's just decide whether we're
I-
okay with it
In all
being,
fairness.
I think it falls under the,
support the mailbox.
I've had to look because
If there's not an ordinance or a guideline or something that determines whether or not that post can be made of a certain structure or immovable, for lack of a better word. And again, that may be outside our particular purview. I think it does constitute a mailbox as long as the post is acceptable essentially by the powers that.
based on, so what was a time where I got, I don't know what the right word is, but they brought to my attention, the Postal Service brought to my attention that my mailbox was out of compliance. So I actually had to do the research. And it was like too far off the road, right material, whatever, but not proper distance. And so along figuring that out, I saw, acceptable materials and things like that. They actually prefer sturdier, more permanent
What are
structures.
you saying? You're okay with it?
I support that we find this as qualifying as a mailbox.
Okay. So I think we're in unison with that. All right, now, since we imposed a fine of $50 a day, what do we want to do with that?
And he came into compliance on August 31st. That's the date
Mm-hmm.
that you
Attempted
witnessed.
to deliver his order
Okay.
That he
and witnessed
refused.
him putting his mailbox on. Yes.
That's
And
what, 7 days?
he faxed to us on the 31st his letter requesting
Mhm.
that the fine stop.
Yes, because I was nice enough, he wouldn't open the order, nothing. I was nice enough to explain everything to him and try to help him, but
So he's stating in his letter that he came into compliance in time for the August 25th meeting, but he was.
Well, no, because we had a
it wasn't a
picture.
mailbox then.
It wasn't a mailbox. It was still a column and he was still not in compliance.
His mailbox was
That
still
was the one
separate.
column that was left
Yep.
at that time and at the
Yes.
time of the meeting. And because I remember a photo of a column, and then when I went by on my bike the next night, I was like, I don't see all these columns that we.
Yeah, no, he had removed all the columns, just not the one the mailbox is
Okay.
on.
Gotcha.
But during the last meeting, that portion of the column was there and the mailbox was still there. He had one of those green one-piece mailboxes. Now he
Okay.
bought one and
Okay,
that on
so I
there.
agree with the.
Is
with
that
the position at the
$300? Is
30.
that where
It's $350 if we're figuring 7 days. It's $300 if it's 6 days. If it's all the same and just keeping it in discussion or whatever it could be, we just cut it in half.
Mhm.
So there's a motion to impose a $150 or $175 fine.
I mean, it was just a purely discussion at this point.
I would support
See how the
that.
board feels about it.
What are the admin costs thus far?
I don't think you can,
It would just, well, so far none. But if we have to record a lien, then there will
Then there
be
will
the
be.
recording.
Did he have
fees.
any reason as to why he was so disagreeable and did not want to receive the documents you wanted to give him?
PO'd.
I will just friendly say that he just appeared that he wanted to be difficult.
Okay, so.
I was trying to be very helpful to him and explain
course,
the procedure that he just did. He just
Would have been nice to hear
doesn't
from
let
the
you
homeowner.
talk.
Is there a motion for a $175 or $150 fine?
I'll make a motion for $175 fine.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
Aye.
Emily, you okay with what we just did?
So it's 4-1, and you opposed?
No.
Oh,
Debbie Moody.
Deb, okay. Okay,
You
and
okay,
so what's gonna happen if he doesn't pay the $175? Do we give him a certain amount of time to pay?
Don't they normally have 10 days or 30
Isn't there a
days?
protocol in place already for that?
And then if they don't pay it, I think we automatically
Then there's
put a
a
lien.
then there's a lien that's going to be placed against the property. Isn't that right, sir?
Yeah, you would record the order and become a lien, although it's probably homestead, so it doesn't attach anyway.
Right, but I don't know. Usually, I think in prior meetings, the board decided how long they had to pay. And if they didn't
Oh,
pay by that
okay.
time, then I would record a lien.
Right.
I
Anybody-
do recall that.
Yeah,
What-
that's-
Ben, are you okay with
Is that 30
90
days?
days?
I would,
Yep.
my suggestion would be that it be paid within 10 days. And if it's not paid within 10 days, it resorts to the full fine. And a lien is recorded.
Take that as an amendment.
I would support 30 days because I think 10 days is just too short from.
So if it's not paid within 30 days, it goes to the full fine of, what's the full fine? 350, is that what we're agreeing?
350.
350.
That's what I would suggest.
Okay.
You want
So
to amend?
I am happy to amend the motion that if the fine of 175 is not paid within 30 days, then it resorts to the full fine amount of $350 and a lien can be recorded against the property.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right with that, Emily?
Okay, so nobody opposed that one?
Nobody opposed.
Unanimous.
Okay. Now.
Jack?
Jack
Page 2.
Basilone and Kevin McClatchy, 0317 on page 2.
He has not reached out to me. I have no idea what's going on and we still just have the orange fencing.
I have in my notes here that he submitted a permit on September 13 for a fence. Yay.
So,
So the fine is running and it will just continue to run then until he's in compliance. Do we need to actually do
Well, we've
anything
got
today?
two
Yeah,
fines
that's what I
running,
was
don't we?
there's one,
We got one from the temporary fence that was put up, but they're still not in compliance, so they have applied for a permanent fence permit. That is correct at this time?
I would be inclined not to stop the fine until they get a final inspection.
Yeah.
I think we can dispose of,
this is a lien imposition.
right, I think that we should vote on the temporary fence fine, and I think that it would still leave the additional fine subject to final inspection, if I'm reading that correctly. But based on our voting, you can't really bifurcate this case. We would have to vote in its totality. So I think that by moving this case and continuing it, because so what I don't want to have happen is that we vote on the temporary fence, which is the $4,500, but yet we still have yet to get compliance for the permanent fence or get a final. So we kind of have our hands tied from my perspective. I would like to get and decide on the temporary fence, but I don't think that's applicable or possible
No, I
because
don't
we have to
think
take care of it
can.
all at once.
I think it should be, well,
I think we keep the fine running till there's a final inspection and then
Exactly.
we see if they actually show up and communicate, because that's the one thing that really hasn't been going on.
With this property.
Well, the property owners are out of state, as I understand.
It's a rental property.
Yeah.
The homestead is just from the previous owner, I believe, because he doesn't live there. He told me that it's a rental property. He
Even-
doesn't live in the state.
He
There's
can,
Zoom, there's
You can
teleconference, there's
call.
I
FaceTime.
don't think we don't do that here. But he was reaching out to me and then
he can ask
I
his
had-
tenant to come. I mean,
made it clear that he had to tell me when he put up the orange fencing and he didn't. So when I was driving by, that's how we stopped it.
If he's out of state, he can always hire an attorney to represent him. I mean, I don't want to
Property
make it more
managers.
anybody. And you know,
I think he is one of them because he says he works for Brown, Harris and Stevens.
Well, then he's got other agents
So
there
he know,
that
yeah,
can.
so that's where
help him.
I thought that it was going to be easier. I don't know if something happened in his family or I don't know.
So I think
Sure.
where we are is we're either going to impose a lien on the property or we're going to continue it.
I think we have to just continue it because it's
Okay.
not in compliance. And I don't think that, I think
He's-
imposing a fine right now or determining that is too premature.
okay, so is there-
Well, right now, there is the 2 fines that are running. If the question is that we impose a lien, we can record a lien
But here's the thing.
with
the
the
fine-
continuing to run.
If we record a lien, it's now outside our
Right.
purview, it goes to town council.
Oh, I see.
So I think we continue this all the way through. If there's a permit in place, then potentially by the next meeting, there could even at least be a fence up pending final review and approval. I
But-
would make a motion my recommended motion, continue this as is till the next meeting with everything in place. It's still in violation.
I'd second that.
That's what I'll do.
But if I see his fences put up, I've always just put them in compliance. I don't normally go by the permit. So in this specific one, I need to go by the permit?
Correct. It needs to be finalized. That's the
Okay.
board impose a new fine
This one, it has to
until
be-
permanent fence passes final inspection by the town.
Okay. So it goes by the final inspection date, as long as it passes. Okay.
Any further discussion? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. You ready to vote? Emily, you okay with what we've done?
Yeah, so it's a motion to continue.
Yeah, basically, it's,
Okay.
Making us
All
seem
those
so
in favor?
simple.
all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So I think we're on Susan Downing now on the
Yes.
0319 and 0320.
I will say for the record that Mrs. Downing has been very, very up to date on communicating with me. She calls me after every meeting. She did also drop off a letter last night that I got from town hall. Is it easier if I just read the short little letter to
Sure.
you guys? She says, update on 1416 Arabian Road East. Fence enclosures around garbage and pool pump have been repaired. That's the one, I put that in compliance. The grass, bare areas, sod has been laid down in a large area. The smaller areas have been seeded and the birds keep eating her grass seed and she keeps reapplying. She said that the rain should definitely help her and she has also, she wrote a letter and called me. And that she was going to be using her sprinkler and she was really working on it. She did get the house has been pressure cleaned. She did the paint on the west side and the front of the house. She ran out of paint and she wasn't able to buy it till she gets her social security check, which is today, which she confirmed this morning she got, and she will get more paint and she will get that done. But for us to kind of bear with her because of the rain. The walkway and area by the front door have been pressure cleaned. That was just something she added. I respectfully request an extension of a time for 10 days. I'm doing the painting myself and I'm 71 years old. I cannot take the heat and I'm doing this in small increments during the sunset hours. I'm sorry I cannot attend your meetings due to my work commitment. I work for the Lake Worth Scottish Rite and their monthly executive board meeting and consistory meeting are held the fourth Wednesday of every night, which she's told us every time. I did start to explain some of how the fines and things work, that she would have to come here in person to request the fine. That's how it normally works, but unless she can do it by letter, but she did say for the December meeting, she would be able to come in person because we have it on December 8th.
Okay, so we did
To
not
speak
impose a fine.
I couldn't remember exactly.
We haven't imposed a fine.
Oh, that's
so
right, yours was in May.
You feel like she's coming into compliance,
Yes,
trying?
I feel like she has been very, very good about communicating with me. Hasn't given any difficult time or anything, just.
So
Is there a
Okay, I'll
motion to
get-
continue
Dana,
this?
just, so mildew on residents, no longer an issue because of the
So
pressure cleaning, correct?
So she has a couple areas to paint and I was actually gonna throw that one in compliance because I really can't call it mildew. It just
Okay.
needs an extra
It's
paint.
Could
So
be
so
concrete or,
yeah, then
whatever.
let's do that.
okay. And
With that
then
one?
the white fencing full of
That-
mildew, that's good?
She's good to go.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and at least take 2, and then we'll talk about the dead grass if it's okay with the board.
Go ahead.
Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 210320, I move that the board find the respondents in compliance with section 34-20, mildew on residents, of the town code of ordinances, and that the case be dismissed without prejudice.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye. Oh, sorry, that was an aye for 4.
Motion,
Sorry.
are you
I
in
voted
favor?
4
Are
in
you-
favor.
Okay,
Sorry. I was just delayed.
motion carries. All right, the next would be.
My second
0319.
motion, based on testimony and evidence presented in case number 210322, I move that this board find that the respondent is in
No,
compliance.
Wait a minute, excuse me, I'm sorry. You told us that 0322 was already.
So 322 is in compliance. Yes, I said that in the beginning. So
Okay.
320, I wanted to kind of discuss with you guys, but then I kind of thought about it. I can't see.
Right, that's the one we just
So
said is in
that's
compliance.
That's the one he just re-brought up.
0322 is in compliance.
So now
Yes.
we're on
We're good with
0319,
that. 319 only for Downing,
which is
yes.
the dead, dying lawn ungrassed area.
Yes, it's more or less just that little area on the left. You can
It wouldn't
It's
take much to
it's
fix that.
proving, yeah, I think I should just probably tell her she needs to just throw down some more seed. That way we can close these out, or sod, so we can
Sod.
close it out.
Continue. All right, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 210319, I move that this board continue the matter until the next code enforcement board hearing on October 27th, 2021.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
William Murphy?
Well, now, that, they had already come into compliance.
He is good to go.
Early
He
on
was
in the
adamant
meeting.
about coming into compliance.
So now we're on Samuel R.
Trent.
Trent.
Yep.
210356, ungrassed areas on the property.
So I have not communicated with anybody, but there's little signs. You can see, I can tell that there is some improvement. I'm not sure. It looks like maybe he's trying to seed it. He has little signs that say do not mow.
Yeah, he threw down. So
So-
this is not far from my house. So I passed by this house on my bike ride.
So it
Almost
looks like
daily bike
he saw the order and is working to comply.
Yeah, he threw down sod. I don't know this individual. I've never met them, but
Me neither.
they've thrown down sod. Seems like he's trying to come into compliance.
If he's thrown down sod, it's not covering the.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he threw it on sod. He looks like he's seeding it and maybe helping the
Oh,
rain.
actually, where those signs are sod. Is sod.
Is it?
Yeah.
What about in front of it?
It'd be nice
Yeah.
if somebody would reach out to me or
Yeah,
come
he
to the
did.
meeting.
He
I
He
can only
threw down
assume.
sod, but he didn't complete. That's
Right.
I found it baffling. I was like, wait, he threw down a bunch, but I guess he didn't
Oh,
buy
yeah,
enough.
you are right. Sorry. I do see the sod,
Maybe he didn't buy enough.
He must have not purchased enough.
but it looks like he's working.
'Cause
and
he's-
he's doing
Yeah, he's
nothing.
got the do not mow signs back there as well, and I could tell that this is at a lower elevation.
'Cause it's thicker.
Between those two signs at a lower elevation than this sod.
Appears he's still not in compliance yet.
No.
Okay, so, and a fine, at the last meeting, we said a fine may be imposed. Do we want to impose the fine or continue it?
I would support continuing if it gets the message to just complete it.
That it didn't go away.
Yeah, that it didn't go away.
So you want to continue it to the
Give
next
them, I
meeting?
mean, it seems like in good faith effort that they've attempted.
So is there a motion to continue?
I would, okay, so based on the evidence and the testimony provided today in case number 21-0356, I move that the board find the respondents not in compliance, but extend until that they must come into compliance by the October 27th meeting, or the fine of $5 a day may be imposed.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next case is continued cases. Madeline
Martorell.
Martorella, roof in disrepair, has a tarp on it.
I took fresh photos today. I
Wow.
actually have not talked to him. I thought that they would be here. If I remember correctly, they couldn't come to the last meeting because the family had COVID, is what they told me, but I haven't talked to him since.
Is this the gentleman that was here that lives next to his mom and
Yes, and he
was
did a roof on his house.
emphatic about it's gonna get taken care of and
Yes,
really
but
moved with his, position and how determined he was, and he did his roof and he didn't do his mom's roof.
yes, he had his mom's roof repaired, but then when he took the tarp off, the roof is in disrepair, which is still under the same section as the original violation. I thought didn't he come to one of the meetings
Yeah.
though, and you wanted him to bring a permit and submit a contract?
Is there a permit? Did he get a permit, Emily?
He said it was the same roofing company. that
No,
did
no
his house.
permit.
No permit.
All right, not in compliance.
I don't know why he's not here.
Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 21021, I move that this board find the respondents in violation of section 34-20, 34-19 sub 9 sub C, roof in disrepair of the town code of ordinances. Based on the nature of the violations, I move that the respondent be ordered to, I lost my place, correct the violations. Sorry.
I think the
On a-
question is more if you want to impose. a
Correct,
fee.
yes. Imposing the fine of $50 per day commencing as of today, September 22nd, 2021, which shall continue to accrue until respondent comes into compliance.
No, the
The
fine.
fine has already been
Okay.
imposed.
Opposed.
The fine has already been imposed.
So the,
And you were, and
So
we
then,
They're
and
still
we
not,
wanted them to come into compliance and we wanted them to get a permit,
and they didn't.
of which neither has been.
right.
Really, it
Completed.
should be just a motion to continue the fine, unless you want to change the fine.
No, that's fine. Sorry. It's late. Haven't had dinner.
So you want to continue?
Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 210121, I move that this board continue the matter until the next code enforcement board hearing on October 27th, 2021.
Oh, yeah, okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, the fine started in July. Okay. You ready to vote?
what is there a natural, before, may we discuss a little bit?
Yeah.
Is there a natural, like, next step, order, like escalation, if you will, on here?
Impose a lien.
We can pose the lien.
That's where,
Brings it to
that,
town council.
that's the next. Well, you haven't.
Want to give them one more month?
Okay,
Or do you want to impose a lien?
all right, we'll give them one more month.
I just saying, my overall scope, let's keep everything with us as best we can unless it absolutely needs to go to town council, because then it gives us the ability to
Correct, yeah.
reduce, amend, change these fines and work with these folks.
And then you
Yeah.
don't have to tie up the council.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we have a motion and a second. Are you ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I think this is the last one. John Gigliotti, trustee of the John Gigliotti Trust, at the bottom of page 5. This is a new case. Property kept in a manner which causes a nuisance to other properties. Dana, did you see the rats?
No, but the neighbor says that there are.
They think they saw some.
Which neighbor?
Oh, no, they don't say they think they saw them. They
Okay.
say they saw them.
Okay,
Well,
so there's a
neighbor?
neighbor complaining.
Yes.
So this house has been on here before.
So
Dana, which neighbor?
it would be the neighbor to the south. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. So, on July 9th of 2021, I issued the property located at 7523 Pine Tree Lane a violation for the property being kept in a manner which causes a nuisance to other properties, section 3420 and 3419, subsection 12. I did tell him to clean up the entire property. I have to get on a neighbor's property and get the rest of it, but Bobby Haynes reached out to me, told me that he was working on it. He helped get rid of a bunch of other violations that I also have written the property to. So it looks like it's a work in progress, but even after he started to clean up some of the stuff, I still could see some stuff. So on September 13th of 2021, I issued the same property, the hearing notice, which was posted on the front door, and it's still posted on the front door with the notice. It's hard to zoom in because then it gets a little blurry, but he had the patio originally was clean because it was a prior violation that came into compliance, and I think you guys wiped out his fine. Well, he's put a bunch of trash in there again. It's more exposed to the street because Bobby Haynes did his part and he's tried to trim up the vegetation and clean it up the best he could. I don't know if he's still working on it. Paul's not reaching out to me. It kind of appears that Paul is reaching out to.
Paul, who's Paul?
Paul is Paul Gigliotti.
Oh, okay.
He's the nephew of John.
Paul was in the hospital. He was very, very sick and he had, I guess, an infection in his lungs. So just want to let you guys.
But I see the car come and go, so I would assume
he's out of the hospital.
He's the one driving the car and he knows how to call me and he's not. So it appears that he's reached out to a council member who reached out to the town and went on the clerk of court, looked up some documents, but I didn't dissect them enough. But it appears as if, I don't know if he's trying to say that somebody else is responsible for the property, but the deed and stuff off the clerk of court that one of the council members sent to the town is actually for the Paul Senior's trust, because it's probably confusing because the Paul Senior originally owned the home. He lived in Ocean Ridge, sold it to John Gigliotti. Paul Jr. has lived with John. So with that being said, I went ahead and was like, oh, okay, well, let me get these notices out to Courtney Kempf. I did that. She reached out to me right away and she's like, this isn't my property. I don't see why my Uncle John would leave it to me. It should be to my brother. I have all my dad's, Paul. But she said if we found something that says she's responsible for me to tell her and she'll take care of whatever she has to. But she was pretty adamant this is not her problem.
Okay, so the property owner is John Gigliotti?
The trust, which is who I've cited it to.
Okay. So it's either in compliance or it's not?
It's not.
Okay, it's not.
That's why I kept it here for you guys.
Is there a motion?
And does anyone live here or there? Or?
Paul Jr. lives there.
Okay.
He's lived there since prior to Mr. John Gigliotti passing
There's no
away.
reason that it shouldn't be in compliance, like, right?
Yeah.
So.
I'd like to get some direction from our town attorney. I previously abstained on this because I'm in active communication with Paul Jr. regarding a potential sale to do title work on the property. I don't know if that, if I should abstain on this. I believe I can be 100% objective in terms of what I'm seeing on the photographs, but just because I had a potential client communication with him to do title work, title insurance specifically on the property, I don't know if that precludes me from voting.
Yeah, I would say you should not vote. I mean, because there's, in theory, there's financial gain to you potentially. So,
I would agree.
yeah, I did the memorandum of voting conflict and.
I have it.
Yeah, you got it. You're ready.
I'll refill it. I don't know if that continues to exist for this particular case, or if it's a new case, I have to file a new.
You already filed one on this case?
I already filed one
It
for.
wasn't for this case. It was
for another
separate case.
You know, I'd do a new one because it's this vote. That's
Okay.
this vote.
Fair enough.
Is there a motion? But
It looks like he's ready to go.
No, I wasn't
Okay.
actually.
anyone?
I was anticipating yours.
Oh, well, I'd be happy. I'd be happy to.
Go, Ben.
I was
Based
looking.
on the testimony and evidence presented in case 21-0377, John J. Gigliotti, trustee of the John J. Gigliotti Trust. I move that this board find the property in violation of section 34-20, 34-19 sub 12, and that a fine of $50 a day may be imposed unless compliance is reached by the October 27th meeting.
Second.
Abstaining.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I believe the way we've jumped around here that we've covered everything tonight.
Yeah, let me just verify.
We took care of
again, but
case-
I think we're good.
210317 on page
Yeah,
2.
We had some cases that were in compliance at the very beginning of the meeting.
Okay. I'm all accounted for on my side.
Okay.
I did want to make a comment.
Wait a minute, Emily, did you want to?
Yeah, let me just verify, make sure. Yeah, we're good.
You're good, okay.
I just wanted to thank Emily for keeping us all organized, and I know it's no small feat to make these packets and
Yeah, you're welcome.
jump around and keep track of our discussion. So thank you.
welcome.
The town appreciates it. We appreciate it.
Any other comments? Mr. Clark?
I'll second that.
Anything? Mr. Clark, anything? No, you're good. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Seconded. So moved. Sorry.
I'll second it.
Do it all.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
8:01.
That was tough.
Yeah, that was a good